Well, people contacted us upset that a coach was not arrested on the spot on Saturday after he punched another man in the face after an elementary school basketball game. But Tuesday, the Dandridge Police Department did arrest Haji Jackson for misdemeanor assault. Jackson was coaching the boys from Mount Horeb Elementary during a game Saturday against White Pine. That's when the police say the assault happened here at the Field of Dreams Activity Center in Dandridge on Saturday, right around noon. Activity Director Chris Shockley said the assault had nothing to do with the actual game or the children. The police report says the coach's wife, Amy Jackson, got into it with a parent from White Pine while watching the game. The police report says Josh Hubbard told Miss Jackson to calm down and touched her leg. And in video shot by Jackson, they could hear her say, "Get your hands off me." Then when the game was over, the wife told her husband about Hubbard putting his hands on her, and Jackson punched Hubbard in the face. An ambulance took Hubbard to UT Medical Center with facial injuries, including a fractured nose. While there are cameras all over the gym, the staff at the center said they don't cover the area where the fight happened near the exit. Hubbard says he's hired an attorney and cannot talk about the case, other than to say it should not have happened. And the director of Jefferson County Schools, Shane Johnston, told 10 News Jackson has been a volunteer with the school system for several years, but he is no longer allowed to coach or attend school sporting events this year. And again, Jackson is not an employee of the school system. He's actually a caseworker for the Department of Children's Services. DCS told us it's their standard procedure to put employees charged with crimes on administrative reassignment until their court date. Then they will reevaluate their status. Right now, Jackson's court date is set for January 3rd of next year.